the, the empty yet appearing. So how do we understand that? There was one time I remember His Holiness sent me one video. So in that video there was this one lady, she was, I think some of you have seen this, so you can find it in Google. So basically, that in that video they show the first a lady, young girl actually, and then when you go into her eyes, then you go deeper where you can, the blood vessel, then you go into, the lead, until, that you go to the proton and atom is all further broken down, proton, neutron, etc. So that ultimately there's nothing, which you can identify as being that one girl, being that something that is physical substance of that girl. You can break it into, there's nothing, you can go deeper into atomic, subatomic level. Yet at the same time, you can see the girl, you can touch her, it's very real as this table is real. So His Holiness, together with that video, Holiness sent me a message saying that, scientists are only discovering only now about the emptiness and interdependent, but Buddha discovered 2,500 years ago, without any sort of the thing. So that is why when you do that is the truth that scientifically discovered. And in the Mahayana Sutras, we talk about emptiness of the form. Right? We talk, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. But what does it mean? So what does it mean is, it does not mean that it is something that is, we are not talking about something separate out there, outside. We are talking about the very table in front of us, our own very hand, the mug, the building, etc. We are talking of that. So when you are saying emptiness is form, it's saying, the very emptiness that you can break down even scientifically into this thing is the very form that you are seeing. And the very form that you are seeing also doesn't have inherent existence. That is why, when you are doing the Tara visualization, when you or the visualizing the Buddha in front of you, we always say that your visualization must have two quality. That is emptiness. It is, the clear and distinct. Yet its nature is in emptiness. Yet emptiness itself is appearing. Then the same is applied to the sound. Same is applied to the, the emotion also. The very emotion that you are feeling, happiness, sadness, etc. The nature is empty, yet you can experience the emotion of happiness, sadness, etc. But if you look into, identify something called what is the happiness emotion, you try to recognize it, try to not just say I'm happy, I'm sad, but you try to really identify and grasp this emotion, there will, the so-called happy or sadness, we will not be able to hold on to that emotion as something that is inherent, that is, the real or something that we can really grasp it. It will be similar to the, the body, when you break down into it, there's nothing. So similarly, when you don't analyze it, all the emotions are real, but if you break it down, you really analyze it, recognize nature, it is, its nature is empty, yet, we can experience it. So that is why, that is the reason why, when we say that Buddha's form, Buddha's sound, Buddha's thought, we are not, when you say Buddha's form, we are not just limiting ourselves to particular Buddha's form, such as Tara should be like this, Avalokiteshvara, the Kuan Yin should be like this. This is one form, but actually when you say Buddha's form, we are saying to everything that you can see in the world, even this table is considered a Buddha's form because it is empty yet appearing. Every sound that we can hear, is you can hear it, yet its nature is empty, so it's considered Buddha's sound. Every emotion that we feel, whether you feel happy or sad, whatever, all of these, nature is empty, yet you can experience this emotion. So that's why we call it clear and empty nature of the mind. So if you look at all this description of the form, speech, and the thought in the Vajrayana, there's always the two-sided, maybe Chinese yin-yang, but from our side, we call the existing part and the non-existing. In the form, we call it nang tong. Nang means it can appear and it is so solid, yet its nature is empty. And its form is the union of these two. Similarly, the sound also we call it traktong, which means traktong kegate or gevesong. That means that you can hear the sound, yet its nature is empty. So emptiness and hearing part is a mixed, is a union, inseparable. Emptiness is what you're hearing. Hearing is the emptiness. Similarly, in the emotion, it is called sel tong zongjuk. Sel means clear, and tong means nature. So that means the sel means the emotion part. We can experience happiness, sadness, etc. But if you look into its nature is the empty. So the union of these things are called the clear and empty nature of the mind. So that is why when we say, that we are visualizing ourselves as a Tara, it is said that, it's not that we are pretending to be Tara, but we are actually recognizing the fact that from the beginningless time, our form, all our form, even the very so-called ordinary form that we are in right now, its nature is empty yet appearing. The very sound that is coming from our own mouth right now, its nature is empty yet existing. The very emotion that we are feeling right now, its nature is, the empty yet is thing. Now, when you are talking of the nature, it's a good idea to sometimes little bit kind of differentiate between the emotion and the nature. It can be a little bit different, especially for a beginner. For example, you have this, in terms of this cup, you can call this a cup. Is the form, right? But its nature is a ceramic. So similarly, our toilet pot is also, ceramic, in terms of nature. In terms of nature, between this and the toilet pot, there's no difference. Between the steel mug and the steel drawer, there's no difference. But in the outer form, of course, right? So similarly, most of us, we will always forget that this is a mug and that is a door. We'll see it only as a mug and a door. We will not see the nature of us being a steel. Similarly, in our emotion also, all of us can identify happiness, sadness, laziness, depression or excitement, etc. But none of us are able to recognize the nature of these emotions. So when we are talking of the Buddha nature, we are not talking of the emotion itself, but emotion's nature. We are not talking about the cup, we are talking about the steel part. We are not talking about the toilet pot being dirty or clean, but we are talking about the toilet pot is also ceramic in the nature. When we are talking about the Buddha nature, Buddha's form, we are not talking about, relatively whatever, but ultimately we are not talking about Buddha's form being white or yellow or gold or 1,000 arm. We are talking about its nature being the empty yet appearingly empty. Similarly, when you're talking of Buddha's speech, we might imagine, somebody saying Om Mani Padme Hum, being a Buddha speech. But actually, this is just a form, but rather every sound that we hear is nature being empty and existing. Right? So now, why do we need to, recognize this? And what is the relationship between this and the karma? Right? Because firstly, we need to recognize it because the way we see it is not true. We see things as 100% existing. We are so much bound by it. We are so much influenced by for example, the form. For example, when you see someone that you do not like, do we understand that so-called the person that we do not like, we can imagine his or her face, the feature, everything. Yet, if you can understand that there's no such a thing as even a single atom that is existing of a person that you do not like, called inherently existing. Yet it is something that is so real to us. That's why we are so affected by the emotion, and that emotion in turn makes us accumulate the karma, negative karma, positive karma, whatever. Similarly, in all the sound that we hear, when the people say positive things about us, when people are saying, criticizing us, complimenting us, all the sounds are the same. I think, 1 or 2 years ago, we were doing a presentation on the speech of the Buddha in Bhutan. Guru Padmasambhava's speech, So we were joking that, we were showing an example. There was one boss in the office saying that, I am the boss, you all have to listen to me. And then, the people are getting upset saying he is a very bossy person, right? But then after that, we were showing a next picture in the next slideshow. We had, a wife, who was telling the husband, I'm your boss, you have to listen to me. And the husband looked very happy, because they recently got married, So the wife was, saying, of course, husband was, of course, you are my boss, Definitely, I love, I'll happy to, please be my boss for my whole life, right? It might even be your marriage vow also, my boss for my whole life, right? At least in the beginning of the relationship. Right? So the sound is the same, right? In your office, they're saying, I am your boss, listen to me. And your new wife or new husband is saying, I am your boss, listen to me. But because of our belief that, that one is also, we are thinking that what the boss said as a negative, that is also a misconception. What your wife said, we can see, husband said also as a pleasant, it's also a misconception. So because of this misconception, how much it affects us, right? Some of the, I think it is possible that sometimes by hearing good news or bad news, people can get heart attack, There are many people who die when they hear they won a lottery, And there are many people who die when they have negative things also, right? So, similarly, the emotions are definitely, I think how much it affects us, I think, that is, for us, if we feel happy, happiness is so real to us. When we are going through a suffering, is real to us. Depression is real to us. Every emotion is very real. And as long as as long as we consider it to be real, it becomes real. And then, so anyway, then the karma. So that is why when you talk about the samsara, meditation on the samsara, if you go from the below, there's a way to meditate from the samsara to the nature of the mind, and nature of the mind back to the samsara, right? So if you go from down, then sometimes we give examples, something like, I've got this mug in front of me, this samsara is not really a place, but samsara is a dualistic concept of the form, dualistic concept of the sound, concept of the emotion. All of these are the samsara. Samsara is not a place. Samsara is not, nirvana is not some place up there. Because when Buddha Shakyamuni was in the world, he was also in the world, but he was not in the samsara because he is free of the dualistic concept. So, for example, if you go from down, it's this so-called the mug, is a samsara. How did the mug come to my place, for example? Because of the karma, Why did I accumulate the condition to create the karma? Because of my desire. Why do I desire for a mug? Because I believe that, this is not a toilet, kind of the toilet thing, but this is a mug, And this is 100% a mug, and is a very nice mug, so that's why I desire it, right? Even though this mug from the beginningless time has never told me that I am a mug, you must drink in me, but you cannot drink in this, It has never said that, but I have labeled it as that. And the reason why I have labeled it, because my mind has labeled it. And not only my mind is labeled, and not only am I ignorant about the fact that I have labeled this as a mug, but I am also ignorant about the fact that the mind which has labeled it also is nature too, is empty and clear and empty nature of the mind. So that's why when you meditate on the samsara, there's a two way. One is, this samsara is because of karma. Karma is because of desire. Desire is because I have labeled it as good and bad and happy and sad and etc. Then the second way of meditating on samsara is by reversing it. Because I do not see all the form as they are. Their nature is empty yet existing. The sound, all the emotion, I do not understand things as they are. Then I fabricate form as existing and good and bad. The sound as a pleasant, unpleasant. Emotion as a happy and sad, and I put the distinction. And this, in turn, leads me to have a desire towards things which gives me happiness, emotion. Aversion, anger towards things which my mind is projecting unhappiness. And that leads to the karma, and that leads to the samsara. So the samsara meditation you can do from the reverse and, from nature of the mind point of view. So, samsara, meditation on the samsara is important for two reasons. One reason is in the Buddhism we talk a lot about renunciation. So in the renunciation, there is two types of renunciation. One is you leave your wife, you leave your husband, you run away from go to the temple, in the mountain. That's also, one form of renunciation. For some people who cannot really handle the samsara, it is, I think for many of us, we can't handle it. It's like saying that if you cannot handle alcohol, it's best that nobody shows you alcohol. Alcohol should be hidden under the bed. You can't handle it, so don't look at it. Right? If you can handle it, if you're not alcoholic, it doesn't really matter. For example, in Vajrayana temple, we always offer Mahakala Puja, some alcohol, but none of us think of drinking it. For us, it's an offering, we never become alcoholic, right? Because it never happens. So anyway, the outer renunciation is, that kind of renunciation. But, some of us, we misunderstand that we give too much focus on the outer renunciation. Because if you give too much focus on outer renunciation, the problem is that seems to indicate that the world is bad, your husband is bad, your wife is bad, the watch is bad, as if the problem is with this. And if you can run away from your husband, wife, and family, suddenly you become enlightened. If that is the case, if that is the only way to get enlightened, then all the people who are not married, divorced, who don't have money, they should be enlightened by now. Right? So that is why the outer renunciation is important, yes, and there for some people is very much recommended. But the more important is the inner renunciation. And inner renunciation comes not by understanding that, not by rejecting anything, but rather rejecting the conceptual projection. Right? For example, a few months ago, I broke my watch. So then I went to, I was passing through, the Europe that time, going to America. So I bought, a nice wooden watch. And that wooden watch was, I think, 200 euro or 150 euro or something like that, And I was thinking that if this was, because it's sold in a very nice shop, designer shop, it was costing that much. But it was being sold on the street and said this is a copy from, I don't know, from India or China, I can get it for 10 euro, What I paid for 200 euro, I can probably get it, on that, right? So, and that is why, when you say renunciation, what it really does not mean, whether you wear a watch or not is not the point, but knowing that the value of the watch is something that is applied by us, not on the watch itself. Right? So if you have that kind of understanding on the form, for example, watch is a form, then the watch itself doesn't give you any headache. It is not a problem. Because you know that watch is neither valuable nor cheap. Right? Similarly, whatever you see is neither positive, beyond positive or negative. Whatever you hear, whatever emotion you are going through. So that is why such kind of understanding is called the inner renunciation. Right? So outwardly, how you dress maybe, or where you are, or it's not that important. But innerly, you understand the things as they are. So, and especially the Singhi Seva practices are very much related to the seeing the natures as they are. And so first is to do with the renunciation. Now secondly, this meditation is important because without understanding the samsara, there is no really a point in talking about the refuge. Right? Because when we are talking about refuge, what are we taking refuge from? Right? In whom are we in what are we taking refuge from? Because when we are talking refuge, we are not saying that Buddha will come and then clean, kind of like pick us up and throw us into the heaven or something like that. What we are taking refuge in is actually, our own nature of the mind. Our own nature of the mind, which is clear and empty, is the Buddha. Our own Buddha's mind. Our own speech, the very sound that we can hear right now, which nature is empty and existing, is the Buddha's speech. Everything that you can see right now is nature. It can appear very solidly, very real, yet its nature is empty. Is the Buddha's form. That is, ultimately what we are taking refuge. And we are taking refuge from is the ignorance and the dualistic mind. From the dualistic and the ignorant mind, we are taking refuge in the non-dualistic nature of the form, the sound, and the thought nature of the mind. So that is what, So that's why when you take refuge in the Buddha, you are taking refuge in your own clear empty nature of the mind. And that is something that is how it should be. Because firstly, if you are not taking refuge in yourself, Buddha is not within yourself, but something from outside, then it is something that is alien, something that is, not, something that is, I don't know where it is coming from, but it's something that is alien to yourself. Secondly, if, the nature of your mind is not Buddha, then no matter how much of you practice or not, there's no way to get liberated. It is like asking someone who is born in, like a very Africa or somewhere, to you apply a lot of whitening cream and become a fair person, It's not in their nature. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's, So that is why the understanding of the refuge also comes from the meditation on the samsara. So before we go on the refuge, let's talk a little bit about let's reflect on the samsara. So please repeat after me. Samsara is because of karma. Karma is because of desire. Desire is because of ignorance and labeling. Our concepts are like a mirror, and our experiences are like the reflection in the mirror. Outer ignorance is thinking that one's happiness and sadness are outside oneself. Inner ignorance, not realizing the non-dualistic nature of mind. Labeling gives rise to desire. Desire leads to action. Action brings about result. To be free of samsara, one must understand that everything comes from projection of one's own mind. Whatever appears to be truly existing is merely what mind in delusion creates. This mind of ours is also from the beginning devoid of any existence, inherently real. Thus, realizing the truth is beyond conceptions we have of the known and knower as well, dispel the belief in external existence. The sons of Buddha all practice this way. So these 4 meditations are called the 4 ways of turning your mind. So what does it turn your mind from? It turns your mind from someone who looks outside for happiness and the suffering to someone who looks inside as a cost. For example, through the appreciation meditation, we understand that I am happy to be alive only if I appreciate it. For example, tomorrow I'm very sick, and then when you get better, then you will appreciate your health, and then you will appreciate, I am cured of the stomach problem or stomach cancer or whatever. When you get cured, so the happiness came from not from the act of curing, but from the act of appreciation, from the result of appreciation. Similarly, to be loved, feeling of love, success, all of this comes because we appreciate it. Right? So happiness came from the thing. Similarly, the impermanence meditation also makes us realize that the reason that we are going through suffering is because of attachment, and we are getting attached to something that by nature is changing every second. Emotions are changing every second. Physical forms are changing every second. So, so that is why the impermanence is an antidote to the suffering, actually, the pain, which is a result of the attachment. And then the karma meditation makes us understand that whatever is happening in our life is a result of our own cause and condition. And among the most important cause and condition is the mental cause and condition, because mental influence, the body karma and the speech karma is a result of the mind. And then lastly, when we meditate on the shortcoming of the samsara, we understand that while we do not have to reject anything, physically reject anything, but we have to understand that, the so-called, the pleasant, unpleasant form, speech, and the sound, etc., is not inherently existing, but is something that is our conceptual, something that is result of the dualistic nature, the kind of misunderstanding. So that is why this so-called happiness, sadness, etc., is a reflection of our concept rather than the reality. That's why it says in the here, this is the word of the thing. Our concepts are like a mirror, and our reflection are like the experiences. So our concepts are like a mirror, means our concept, for example, I have a concept that this is for me a perfect life. For me, life looks like this, with this person, the kind of success. This is, for me, this is successful life. And then when you see such kind of success, you find, you get a reflection of the experience of the happiness or the sadnesses according to your concept. Tomorrow, your concept of the success change. Our concept of the happiness change. And then the reflection also changed. So what you thought was successful a few years ago, now it has changed. So that will no longer give you happiness. Before you thought success was, getting married. Now you think it's the career. Now you think it's the children. Now you think it's going to Himalaya and doing a trekking. I don't know, So according to your concept, which are like a mirror, our experiences, which are the reflection, the mirror changes. So the meditation on the samsara is, this thing. Then after that, when you go into the refuge part, actually, that is the only time we actually become a Buddhist. So until someone, goes through the 4 ways of transforming your mind and takes a genuine refuge, one is not really considered, someone who has fully entered the Buddhist path. So then when we talk about the refuge, as mentioned earlier, samsara is because of karma, karma is because of desire, desire is because of ignorance, and among the most important is ignorance of the nature of one's own mind. Right? So nature of one's own mind, we say the nature of the mind is called the clear and empty nature of the mind, and that is understood as the ultimate Buddha. Because if the clear and empty nature of the mind is not the ultimate Buddha, and Buddha is only form, Buddha is someone who looks like a white or green or etc., then it is easy to become like that. It's easy you can do some plastic surgery, paint yourself, whatever, and then have you become a Buddha. What does it mean to become a Guru Padma Sambhava? Does it mean just to go around carrying a vajra and then do you become a Buddha? In the future, when you become Buddha, what do you want to become? Do you want to have some sort of 1,000 arm or something like that? Or do you want to realize the nature of your own mind? So that's why we say the Buddha is not the form or something, but is your nature of the mind. Similarly, Dharma is also, Dharma does not mean the sutra, all the, what you call it, the sutras and the books and the prayers, etc. If that alone is a Dharma, then keeping that on our head, if nothing goes inside our heart, it doesn't make any difference, no matter how much mantras you chant or etc. So that is why the real Dharma is when these, the practices are the process of realizing the nature, Buddha nature of your own mind. So that is the process of realizing the nature of your own mind is considered the Dharma. And what does it mean to be a Sangha? Does it mean someone who wears yellow, orange? Is that limited to that? That is outer, Anybody can wear a different kind of cloth. But only when we are truly engaged in the process of realizing the nature of our mind, then we become a Sangha. So that's why the clear and empty nature of our mind is the Buddha. The path to realizing that is the Dharma. And when we are fully engaged in the process of realizing the nature of our mind, we become a Sangha. So these are called the secret Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Secret or the inner Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Then the question comes that if these are the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, why do we pray to Amitabha Buddha? Why do we read the sutra? Why do we, respect the monks and, the nuns, etc.? So then it is said that the outer Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha are like a seed, or like a mirror. And the secret Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is like the fruit or the, like a reflection that you can see your reflection with the help of the mirror. So with the help of the outer Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, we are able to realize the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha within ourselves. So that is why we respect Buddhas, we respect the Buddha statue, we respect the sutra, we respect the monks and nuns, etc. But the most result that we want is to, through their help and blessing and the guidance, we want to realize the Buddha, Dharma within ourselves. So these are called the outer Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas are called the cause refuge. And the nature of your own mind is called the result refuge. And Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is a very common refuge because all the Buddhists of all three yanas, we respect the, Buddha Shakyamuni, his teaching, the Sanghas, etc. And but in the Vajrayana, we add three more. We add Guru and Yidam or Dakini. Yidam and Yidam is the deity, and then the Dakini as Sangha. So the Guru just does the same job in Vajrayana as the Buddha, because the Guru represents also the non-dualistic nature of the mind. Guru also gives the guidance and shows the path as the Buddha does. So that's why Guru, Guru also represents the, Guru is a Buddha, right? We consider Buddha. Also in the Himalayan language, the name for the Guru, we call it Lama. There's a two word, Lama. So it is, said that the two words represent the existing part and the non-existing part, right? And these two words together means that Guru is the union of emptiness and existing part. As I mentioned earlier, now this same word, or this union is also taught in the Mahayana, in the Heart Sutra, all that, I think we like to read a lot, but it is said in a different word, right? In the Vajrayana, we say union of emptiness and the form. In the Mahayana, they say, in the Heart Sutra says, emptiness is form, form is emptiness. Sound is emptiness, emptiness is a sound. Other than the form, there is no emptiness. Other than the emptiness, there is no form. So Mahayana, the word is different, but the meaning is the same because when he says that emptiness and the form, the emptiness is form, form is emptiness, is also talking of the union. The meaning is the same. But in the Vajrayana, we say the word called union, it's a kind of, Vajrayana is something that is, Vajrayana is in a way you can say like Heart Sutra as a practice, not just as a recitation, but as a practice. So Vajrayana, in the word also we say clear and, emptiness and the form together. You also have to visualize yourself as a green Tara, but your nature form is empty yet existing. So, so anyway, so that's why the Guru in the Vajrayana, we say Guru or the Lama is basically a union of the emptiness and existing is the real Lama, the real Guru. So Guru also we talk of outer Guru, inner Guru, secret Guru. So outer Guru is your Guru in the human form is called the outer Guru. Through his blessing, we get some sort of, the understanding in our mind. Oh, I should be visualizing like this. I should be doing like this. So-called devotion, understanding, whatever you get, is the understanding part. The devotion part is the inner Guru. And the secret Guru is when you realize that your own nature of the mind, from the beginningless has been empty yet appearing yet empty. That is the secret Guru which has always been within yourself. So that's why in the Vajrayana, whenever we say, that's why in the beginning also we mentioned that it is very important to visualize Guru as a Buddha, because to directly visualize as an emptiness is difficult. So we visualize as a Buddha, but slowly we are led to understanding that Buddha is none other than the emptiness as form. Form is emptiness, right? Other than the Prajna Paramita, what is Buddha? Other than Prajna Paramita, what is Dharmakaya? What is, So that's why ultimately when you say Guru dissolve into myself, it is not 100% you can say that, or someone has to dissolve, but it's more of this dissolution is to make us realize something that's always been within us, something that's always inseparable within us, that this, the union, or the emptiness or whatever you call it. So, so Guru also has the Guru word itself means full of quality, right? Full of wisdom or full of quality, but the quality is not limited to, speech and, the knowledge, etc. But the ultimate quality is the, the union, understanding or realization of the union of emptiness and appearance. This union is called. So that is why in the Vajrayana, Guru represents the Buddha. And the second part is the Vajrayana is the deity. Deity is the Dharma in the Vajrayana. Because in the Vajrayana, when we visualize, ourselves as a different, there are many deities in the Vajrayana. Some deities look very angry, some looks very lustful, some very jealous, different emotions. The reason for that is because, we have various sort of emotions. We have happy, sad, outwardly we are very peaceful, innerly we are wrathful, Secretly we are, I don't know, whatever we are, right? So we have so many emotions. So how we cannot delete these emotions or cut away the emotion, and we don't need to cut the emotion also. In the Vajrayana, it is said very clearly in the Vajrayana purification practice, it is said that that means that, I, out of ignorance, I thought that emotions were bad, that I need to stop the emotion. Actually, it is not. Emotions are, without emotion, there is no wisdom. Because emptiness is hidden in the emotion, Nature of the emotion is emptiness or the wisdom. So without the emotion, there is also no wisdom. So that's why in the Vajrayana, the emotion does not need to be cut away or stopped or something. Emotion needs to be recognized. The nature of the emotion needs to be recognized. So that is why the different visualization of the angry deity, wrathful deity, whatever deities, etc., are to make us the inherent emptiness of the empty nature of the emotions. So that is why in the Vajrayana, be the mantra recitation, be the visualization, these are a skillful path to realize the nature of our mind. That's why in the Vajrayana, deity practices are called the Dharma practices. And then lastly, in the Vajrayana, we have a Dakini, which includes Mahakala, Mahakali, etc. So they do the job of the Sangha in the common yana. So in the Sangha, the job of the outer Sangha is to give you the support, right? To support, encouragement to your path of practice. Similarly, the Dhammapala, Dhamma protectors. Nowadays, in the Himalayan region, some people seem to think that Dhamma protectors are like a personal mafia, You give them some alcohol, then they'll go and beat up people for you, So it's like your personal mafia. You can hire with the one bottle of alcohol, Very cheap personal mafia also, Actually, when I was firstly receiving the Mahakala teaching, in the initiation, that time my guru was Adir Rinpoche, He was the one who first came with the Mahakala teaching. He said that, are you sure you guys are, that time there were a few of us, are you sure you guys want to receive Mahakala initiation? Because when you receive a Mahakala initiation, it is not like, you are kind of, begging to Mahakala for help. Rather, Mahakala is someone who is actually a bodhisattva of the 10 bhumi, but have taken a wrathful form. And when you take an initiation of the Mahakala, it is like it is with the vow that, what the guru will say is that, now this is my student practitioner. He wants to practice the Buddha Dhamma, preserve the Buddha Dhamma. So from now on, Mahakala and Mahakali have to serve him and her. Mahakala has to serve the practitioner. Right? So if you want Mahakala to serve you, you also have to be someone who is capable. That's why I remember my guru used to say, are you sure you want to keep a tiger as your, outside your dog, outside your door, Are you sure you want tiger as your pet dog, You might get eaten, Are you sure, right? So nowadays become opposite. We think that we pray to Mahakala and then Mahakala, That's why if you read the Mahakala practice, if you read it, that's why there's no practice where you are ordinary person and then you pray to Mahakala, please give me blessing, protection. Not at all. You always have to visualize yourself as a Buddha, either a Chakra Samvara Buddha or Guru Padma Sambhava. Visualize as a Buddha, and then you invite the Mahakala, Mahakali practices, and then remind them of their promise to protect the Buddha Dharma and help the sentient beings. And then you have to command the Mahakala and Mahakali, It's not a bribing them. And they are also bound by their oath. It is said that Mahakala, they are saying that Mahakala, and if you read the Mahakali practice, it said that if they ever deviate from protecting and preserve the Buddha Dharma, may their heart be broken into 1,000 pieces. They are said like that. So anyway, they never break their commitments. So anyway, basically they are Dharma protectors, right? That's why in the word also it's called Summa, protectors, right? Not personal mafia, There's a protector of the Dharma, right? If you're a Dharma practitioner, they'll protect you. Even if you do no offering at all, they will still protect you, right? If you do all negative things, but no matter how much Mahakala you do, most probably it's not the Mahakala is protecting you, but some local ghost that is protecting you, because they are drinking your alcohol and offering, and it's not really Mahakala. I don't think Mahakala has the time to, do all our small jobs, odd jobs, right? So that's why in the Vajrayana, when we pray to Mahakala, they are not like a kind of thing, but they are considered like a Sangha of the Vajrayana, is the Mahakala and Mahakali, Dakha-Dakhin, etc. They are considered the Sangha who supports Vajrayana practitioner on the development of his or her own path, right? So both of these, the Buddha Dhamma and outer Buddha Dhamma in a Sangha, innerly we say Guru, Dakha-Dakhini, and the Dhamma protectors are the Sangha. But these are all, both of these are called the outer, the outer, because when you are praying to Buddha, you are praying to someone that is outside of yourself, etc. So even when you are doing the refuge practice also is different. For example, when you are doing a prostration, when you are offering a flower, when you are reciting the prayers, etc., you are doing the outer and the inner refuge practices. When you do secret refuge practices, there's nothing to chant, nothing to think. Only when you, at the end of every refuge practices, tomorrow I think you will do the prostration, but at the end of the prostration, you visualize the entire lineage tree dissolve into yourself, and then you remain in the nature of the mind, to not think about past, future, present moment. That is the moment, that is the only time you are practicing the secret refuge practice, So the secret refuge, there's no chanting. There's no chanting, there's no prostration, there's no offering, right? Because the remaining in the nature of the mind is considered the secret, the secret refuge, the ultimate refuge. Similarly, in the purification also is the same thing. In the purification also, when we do Vajra Sattva, we visualize the nectars coming, etc. We are doing the outer purification practices. When you do the purification practice based on your own, the Vajra Sattva within yourself, that time, you remain in the nature of the mind, where, the very concept of the I that needs to be purified. I want to purify the negative karma. You, the Vajra Sattva, this very distinction of the Vajra Sattva, negative karma, the you who wants to purify it, all of these things are merged into the one, and that is considered the ultimate purification based on understanding of the nature of your own mind. That is exactly the reason why in the Heart Sutra it is said that if someone meditates on the Heart Sutra even for 1 minute, 1 second, his or her negative karma for eons will be purified. Sometimes we think it's because Heart Sutra is so holy, it's so it is true, I'm sure it is very holy, but it is because Heart Sutra represents the secret refuge, which is the nature of your own mind. And by remaining in the nature of your own mind, inherentness, it is said that the best form of purification is the nature of your own mind. Similarly, offering, similarly, mandala offering, also the same thing. After you do all the visualizing, the universe, and offering, etc., at the last offering, there is the offering, the secret offering is where you remain in nature of the mind, where you, the offerer, Buddha to whom you're offering, the universe that you're offering, all of these things are, dissolved in the non-dualistic nature of the mind, where there's no such distinction of these such kind of three distinction. That is considered the secret, the offering, the best of offering. So that is why if you, for example, yangtik is a very young, in a yangtik practices mostly, when we practice, we will see that yangtik practice and the Singiseva practice also similar, but especially in the yangtik practices, it's very little to do with the outer and the inner refuge. The green tara, other practices are more to do with the outer refuge, inner refuge, and the secret refuge only at the last. And only at the last when you visualize your etc. But yangtik is like outer refuge, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, Guru, Dhaka, all these are very much like only 10-20%. 80% is all to do with the secret refuge. That's why in the yangtik, if you read the offering, yangtik practice, it does not say that, I offer the flower to Buddha, argam, I offer this. Rather it says that all the phenomena that I can see, all the phenomena I can see, I offer by understanding the kind of, I offer all the phenomena, existing phenomena, I merge into the non-existing understand, and that is the greatest offering. So often in the yangtik, the offering is not fruit, flower, etc., but being able to all the existing phenomena, you apply the understanding of the non-existing, the emptiness, and that is the greatest offering. So in the basically higher tantra means, like this kind of thing. Basically it has to do with the secret, the secret refuge. Offering is like that. Purification also is like that, The yangtik purification is also like that, all the, the etc. Yangtik, yes, I remember in yangtik, when you purify the offering also, it says that, I offer, so even the relative offering, I purify, not with some sort of blessing, but by understanding that from the beginning of this time, there's no such a thing as impurity has ever existed. Impurity is something, I remember saying this during Tara practice also, in one way, there's no such a thing as impurity inherently existing. That is why, I think in the Singapore and many other countries, even our urine, urine and the toilet, it can be recycled and then we drink. And I heard the urine water the recycle is more pure than the tap water, right? Because nothing is fundamentally dirty, existing inherently. That's why anything can be recycled. Anyway, even if governments are not doing it, nature is recycling. All our toilets are going into ocean, then into cloud, then it's coming down, and then we are drinking mountain fresh spring water, which is actually recycled toilet, but by the nature, right? So that's why, in the Vajrayana, higher level of Vajrayana, purification is not by, because right now we have a very concept of the pure and the dirty. So purification, probably for us, we will wash the apple very nicely, very nicely, So that is the kind of, but in the Vajrayana, the higher level, the purification is by understanding that no such a thing as impurity existed from the beginningless time. So that is why the thing, and also in the Guru Yoga also, when you do Guru Yoga, again the same thing. Outwardly, when you pray to Guru Vajradhara, and then to do the supplication prayer, the chanting, the recitation, we are mostly doing the outer and the inner Guru. And then only at the end, again, when you dissolve the Guru into yourself, then there's a final word saying that, Guru is none other than your nature of the mind, and then just look into the nature of your own mind and you'll find your Guru. There's a final word there where you dissolve all the lineage tree, everything is dissolved, and then, we are able to kind of, think. Now, if ultimate Guru is within oneself, then why do we refuge within oneself? Why do we need to, kind of why do we need to go through the outer refuge, the inner refuge, the karma, etc.? It's because it's not easy to, it's not easy to recognize the nature of your mind, right? For example, if we have to say, let's say that this morning you guys did the Tara practice. So when you're doing the Tara practices, your mind will definitely be, if you are doing the correctly, because you are doing the visualization, you are doing the chanting, you are doing the offering. So your mind is naturally much more attuned, much more calm, much more attuned to the practices, right? But if somebody tells you no need to do prostration, no need to directly remain in the nature of the mind for 2 hours, definitely I think we don't even recognize nature of the mind. Even if you're able to recognize, to remain on the nature of the mind in the beginning is a very, very difficult thing. That is why, firstly, going through the outer practices, it helps you. Secondly, it is true that, that ultimately speaking, everything is an illusion, is a dualistic concept. But as long as we are not enlightened, we are bound by this concept. So if you are in a dream, it's better to have a dream than a nightmare, right? So in the samsara, it's better to have a good dream than a negative dream. It is true that even heaven is a dream, hell is a dream, happiness is a dream. But as long as we are bound in it, why don't we have a beautiful dream? That's why we accumulate the karma, so we get a beautiful dream of, happiness, right? We accumulate the beautiful karma. So I don't know, we get a wonderful husband or wonderful wife or a children, whatever. Right? It is a dream because at the end of the day, when you are gone, when something is gone, whatever happened yesterday, today, when you look at it, whether you had a wonderful life or a difficult life, when you look back, it's like an experience. But anyway, while we are in the dream, we at least get a good dream. So that's why such practices are recommended. So first today we will do the so tomorrow when you do the prostration, so that time you are taking refuge in the outer and the inner practice. So first you visualize, in the sky in front of you, first you visualize the entire place has become Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. And then in the middle of the lake, there is a beautiful lake, and there is a tree with the 4 branches, the one main branch, and then 4, branches on the thing. So in the middle branch, there's a Vajradhara, on the Guru Vajradhara. For example, His Holiness as Gyalwang Dokhampa is our root Guru, is in the form of Vajradhara. And on his head will be his Guru, that will be previous Trungpa Thosai Rinpoche. And then onwards, etc., until the lineage, Vajradhara. So that is the main branch. I think the Tanka is also representing support for visualization. And then in the front is the deity, Chakra Samvara and the Vajra Yogini together. And then they are surrounded by the deities of the 4 yanas, Chavegyu, Chobegyu, 4 tantras. And below them is the Mahakala, Dhamma protectors, etc. I think it is written here also. And it goes from the central and the back. Yeah. So on the central branch is Guru Vajradhara, with Guru's top lineage, Guru Dorjipam. On the back branch is the Prajna Paramita. So in the Vajrayana, the Heart Sutra, when it takes the form, it is called the Buddha, female Buddha, Prajna Paramita. She is surrounded by the texts of the spiritual, the sutras and tantras and etc. On the left of the Vajradhara is the Avalokiteswara Buddha. He is surrounded by the other 8 Bodhisattvas and Arahats. And on the front branch is the deity Chakra Samvara, surrounded by the other deities and Dhamma protectors. And on the right branch is Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by the 1,000 Buddhas. Right? And then when you are doing prostration, tomorrow when you do prostration, we visualize from our right side all the fathers of present life father and all the fathers of the past lives are on the right side. On the left side, our mother and mothers of all the sentient beings are on the left side. And then when we do prostration, it is said that first we should always stand up straight, stand up straight and touch your heart. And when you touch your forehead, all the negative karmas I have done from my body, such as killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, may they be purified. Whenever we touch our throat, negative karma I have done from my speech, such as lying, zun, tama means creating trouble creating fight, division between other people through my speech, and gossiping and harsh words, may they be purified. From the mind, from my wish to hurt other beings, coveting others, properties and other belonging, and the wrong views, saying I don't believe in the karma, and etc. Wrong views, may they be purified. And then you can do either the long prostration or the short prostration. So it is said that whenever we do prostration to enlightened beings, from the amount of the earth that our body covers, for each atom we accumulate the merit to become the king of the universe. That is why compared to the short prostration, the long prostration is considered more karma, because long prostration covers the more, your body covers the more earth. So prostration is done as a form of a purification. Prostration is done as accumulation of merit, and prostration is also done as a humbling ourselves, humbling our ego. But the most important, when someone says, I have finished 100,000 prostration, what that person is really supposed to be accomplishing is, that person is supposed to accomplishing 100,000 refuge practices. So 100,000 refuge practice means that he or she, by the time he finishes the 100,000 prostration, must have a confidence in the, of course, outer Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, but most importantly in the clear and empty nature of his or her own mind. That is the most kind of the confidence that you must have. Because if you don't have, it's in the nature of your own mind being, clear and empty, that means that how can you really get out of suffering? If suffering is in your nature, what can you do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. If jealousy is in your nature, if samsara is truly existing, if anger, sadness, negative things, it's your nature, there's nothing you can do about it. For example, in our Indian and Himalayan region, there's a very famous cream. It's called Fair and Lovely. So they give advertisement. If you apply that, within 2 weeks you can become fair. Right? And I saw that in the Himalayan people, generally they can not as fair as the Chinese. That's not. But generally they do become fair because their nature is not that dark. By the sun become dark, right? But I don't think that if you're from Africa, you can apply the Fair and Lovely for your whole life, but you will not become, white at all, because it's not your nature. Right? So similarly, if the sadness is within the nature of our own mind, sadness, suffering, pain, anger, jealousy, ego, then is a very bad news. There's no point in doing Dhamma. It's a waste of time. So that's why, the main thing of the refuge is, the main essence of the refuge is the confidence in your own nature of the mind. So, in some way, you can say that, the refuge practice itself is already an introduction to the nature of your mind. So I remember His Holiness used to say that many people who are Buddhists for a long time, they do not understand we do not understand the refuge well. Because, for us, refuge simply means, I take refuge in the Buddha, so somebody from outside will, help me. Yes, outside may help you, but that will be temporary help. If I want to, for example, if you want to go to Hong Kong city, and if I say, come in, I'll give you a lift, it's like I'm giving you a refuge. But the real reason you are happy is not because I gave you a lift, but because you wanted to go. If you didn't want to go and I took you to Hong Kong Island, you'll be fighting with me. So that means, I am not the real refuge, right? If you wanted a money and your bank manager gives you a loan, you'll be very happy. It's like he has given you a refuge. But the real reason is because you wanted loan, right? Otherwise, many of us, I'm sure, we don't want loan, but banks are advertising, take loan, 10%, especially if your credit score is very good. I think in the United States, they track your credit, Even if you don't want loan, you are getting offer every week, right? So that time, it doesn't give you happiness. So that's why, yes, Buddhas and Bodhis outerly may come and help you, give you blessing of the son and daughter or whatever. But The real reason why you're happy, unhappy is because of yourself, right? When you're in college, you don't want children. No? After your marriage, you want children, right? So it's not only about the children, but when your mind says you want it, it's a happiness. So that's why the ultimate refuge, in a way, whenever we take the refuge, it is a kind of a recognition, introduction to the nature of your own mind. So anyway, so we do the refuge practices, and then whenever we say the Ma Namka Dangya Besimchen Tamje, tomorrow what they will do is if you in case maybe there's anyway the prayer that we do while prostration will be the Manam Shikur. That is Ma Namka Dangya Besimchen Tamje Lama Sangye Chukikula Gyapsasho. That means myself and all mother sentient being take refuge in the Buddha Dharmakaya. Again, second one will be the first one when you say myself and all mother sentient being take refuge in Buddha Dharmakaya. You will do, for example, 25 if you are doing 100 prostration. Myself and all sentient being take refuge in the Sambhoga Kaya will be the 25, and myself and all sentient being will take refuge in the Nirmana Kaya will be 25, and lastly myself and all sentient being take refuge in the Guru will be the 25. So ultimately there will be 400 prostrations done. Right? So when you are saying, the Dharmakaya, there's two ways of, focusing. First is when you are saying when you are saying the Dharmakaya, one way it refers to the Prajna Paramita behind who represents the emptiness in the Dharmakaya. But in another way, whenever you say I take refuge in Dharmakaya, it is saying I take refuge in my emotion. It's like saying, for example, it's like saying that right now, if you feel happy, you will say, oh, this is very good, I'm feeling very happy. If you feel sad, you say, no, I need to do something to listen to music or something to, get out of this negative mood. I want to, go for out, I've got to exercise or something like that, right? But from the Vajrayana point, refuge point of view, it is not like that. It is, if you feel happy, I prostrate to my happiness. That is Dharmakaya. If you are feeling sad, instead of rejecting, I prostrate to my Guru sadness, my sadness Guru, which is Dharmakaya. My anger Guru. Whatever the emotion arises, you don't define it, but you are aware of it, and then, you prostrate to it by neither rejecting nor accepting. Is the actual prostration to Dharmakaya is like that. Whatever emotion comes, be aware, neither rejecting nor accepting, that is my Guru Dharmakaya. Similarly, whenever you say Guru Sambhoga Kaya is the sound, whatever sound you hear. Tomorrow if somebody says, Chan, I heard you are a very good person. I prostrate to the sound of the Guru. Right? Somebody says, you are a very stupid person, you are the most lazy person. The sound of the Guru, the Guru Sambhoga Kaya, I prostrate, So if somebody is shouting at you, your boss shouting, there's the Guru Sambhoga Kaya, I prostrate, Really, that's actually how it should be, right? Similarly, the Guru Nirmana Kaya is the form actually. One way you can say that all the Buddhas who are wearing ornament in Sambhoga Kaya, Buddha Shakyamuni is the Nirmana Kaya. But what really means the form, right? That means, tomorrow your wife is smiling at you, that's a Nirmana Kaya, Your wife is saying, that's also Nirmana Kaya, Really, whatever you see, because it's the truth, right? Maybe she's doing like this, not because they had you, but maybe she's having toothache, But you have defined it as a positive or negative, right? I read somewhere that, you should never smile at a gorilla. I read that in the gorilla, if you smile, means less fight. That means less show the teeth and less fight. But we are so bound by our concept that we think if I smile at gorilla, gorilla will smile at me. Right? You want to celebrate your, dog's birthday. The dog has no idea what you're doing. But we think for sure they have idea, right? That's why husband and wife also fight. Husband thinks for sure I know, what will make my wife happy. Wife again thinks the same thing, right? Our idea of happiness, we apply the same thing on others, and we think that it should be like that, but it's not true. Everybody have a different idea of happiness. So that's why actually when you say I prostrate to Guru, Dharmakaya is the mind, emotion, Sambhoga Kaya is the sound, Nirmanakaya is a form. All the form that you see, be it whatever pleasant is the Nirmanakaya. Similarly, when you say, I prostrate to Guru, Guru is the when you relax in the true nature of the mind, even the nature of the mind, which is even beyond the even distinction of the form. This is form, this is a speech, this is a thought, where all of these even distinctions are merged in the non-dualistic nature. That is, the ultimate Guru. So that is the inner way of practicing the refuge while you're doing prostration. In case we are not able to do that, then a more easy way, beginning way, how we are taught is, whenever you say Dharmakaya, you focus on the Prajna Paramita. Whenever you say Sambhogakaya, you focus on the Avalokiteswara. All the Buddhas with the ornaments usually represent the Sambhogakaya. And whenever you say Guru Nirmanakaya, Buddha Shakyamuni represents the Nirmanakaya. Whenever you say Guru, I prostrate to the Guru, root Guru, there is the time your Guru, the root Guru Vajradhara and the lineage masters, they are representing the refuge. So that is why, we do the prostration. So I guess, actually, if if we are able to if we are able to really do that kind of thing, then I guess by the time we finish 100,000 prostration, 100,000 refuge, we really should be able to see things as they are. Whatever form that you see, whatever sound that you see, whatever emotion we see, we are able to recognize it as it is, rather than our idea of a judgment of how things should be, how things are. Right? So, just as a practice, as I chant, as I sort of explain, let's try to visualize a lineage tree, because later after this, I think you have a question answer. Right? So, firstly, we have to pray on. Let's try the visualization of the lineage tree. Okay. So as I explained, please try to visualize. Okay. Firstly, visualize, this place is transformed into Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So Amitabha Buddha Pure Land is said to be full of, the beautiful small hilly mountains. There's no gorges. There's nothing, so-called ugliness, but rather it is a beautiful, kind of like a, full of precious trees, precious stones, etc. So in the middle of that, there is a, crystal clear lake. At the back, at the, the bottom is the sands are made of gold sand and full of precious stones. And then on the top there are birds which are singing, the Om Mani Padme Hum, A, E, and etc. So in the middle of that we visualize a lineage tree. The lineage tree is a wish-fulfilling lineage tree. Again, it's made of the not wood but the precious stones. And then in the front, in the front branch is a precious throne, and on the top of that is the lotus, sun and the moon and the Guru Vajradhara, and his Guru onwards until the lineage Vajradhara is in the middle. And then in the front branch is the deity Chakrasambhara and Vajrayogini, surrounded by other deities and Dhamma protectors. And on the right side of the Vajradhara is the Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by the 1,000 Buddha. And behind is the Madhya Prajna Paramita on the lotus and the moon seat. And behind her is all the sutras and the tantras, the text. And on the left side is the lotus and the moon and the Buddha Avalokiteswara, or the Kuan Yin four-armed one, surrounded by the other 7 bodhisattvas and arahats. So once that is ready, then we get up and then we will do the prostration, maybe about 20. Yeah. Okay. So we will do the prostration. The prayer will be that means myself and all mother sentient beings take refuge in the Dharmakaya. So tomorrow you'll be doing 25. Today let's just do 5 times. 5 times to Dharmakaya. So when you do Dharmakaya, then 5 times to Sambhogakaya, then Nirmanakaya, and then the Sobhavaka Kaya, the 4th Kaya. In terms of focus, Dharmakaya is the Prajna Paramita. Sambhogakaya is all the Buddhas such Avalokiteswara, Chakrasambhara, which are wearing the ornaments. And then the Nirmanakaya is the Buddha Shakyamuni and the 1,000 Buddha. And Sobhavakakaya is the Guru Vajradhara. In terms of deeper understanding, Dharmakaya is all the emotion, their nature of all the emotion. Sambhogakaya is nature of all the sound, the empty nature of all the sound, empty and sound nature. And Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya. Nirmanakaya is all the emptiness of the form. And then the Sobhagakaya is the nature where even all of these things are merged together, is the 4th Kaya. Right? So we will do a prostration 20 times today. So when we are doing prostration, it is always it is said that, the disciples of the Marpalosa, their styles of prostration is different. For example, whenever you start prostration, it always has to come here, start from here, and then when we touch here, negative come out of the body, negative actions of the speech, negative actions of the mind, may they be purified, you prostrate. And then when you come up again, you come back here. And then we start again. So firstly, the Guru Dharmakaya. So when you do Dharmakaya, in terms of lineage, you focus on the back branch, which is the Prajna Paramita, surrounded by the sutras. Kadanyambe simche damche lama sange shugin kona gyapso anshe manam kadanyambe simche damche lama sange shugin kona gyapso che o manam kadanyambe simche damche lama sange shugin kona gyapso che o manam kadanyambe simche damche lama sange shugin kona gyapso che o manam kadanyambe simche damche lama sange shugin kona gyapso che o. Next one is the Guru Sambhogakaya. So in terms of focus, it is the Avalokiteswara. There are many reasons, but generally one of the easy way to recognize the Buddha in the Sambhogakaya form is when they are wearing ornament. All the Buddhas that wear ornaments are usually in the Sambhogakaya form. So that's why Avalokiteswara, the deity Chakra Sambhara and deities, they are in the Sambhogakaya form. So we'll do 5 times. Nam kadanyambe simche damche lama lonchu zobe kula gyapso che o manam kadanyambe simche damche lama lonchu zobe kula gyapso che o manam kadanyambe simche damche lama lonchu zobe kula gyapso che o manam kadanyambe simche damche lama lonchu zobe kula gyapso che o. Next is the Guru. So second Sambhogakaya is the empty yet existing nature of the sound, is the inner Sambhogakaya. Then the third one is the Nirmanakaya. So Nirmanakaya, the focus is Buddha Shakyamuni. So Nirmanakayas are in terms of form, are the form that comes for the people who are not yet fully enlightened. So they cannot see the pure form of the Sambhogakaya. So Buddha Shakyamuni, for example, came in the form of flesh and blood as ordinary human being. So usually the Buddha Shakyamuni and 1,000 Buddha, they represent Nirmanakaya. And in terms of inner understanding, all the forms that we see, they, like the Heart Sutra says, empty yet existing and appearing. Scientifically speaking, they say, that everything looks real, but it can be broken down into atom, proton, whatever, inherently not existing. So that's why, all the form that you see are the Nirmanakaya. 5 times. Next one is the Lama Sangye Rinpoche La Kyapsucho. From the 4 kaya is called Sobhavaka Kaya. It is so this is represented by the Guru Vajradhara, and Guru Vajradhara, which means that from the non-dualist nature point, even the very distinction of because the distinction of the form, this is a form, this is a speech, this is a thought, or also something that is coming out of dualistic mind. So in the true non-dualistic nature of the mind, even the very distinction of form, speech, thoughts are merged. It's indistinct, that kind of, even the concept also is not there. So that is why the last kaya is the Sobhavaka Kaya. That is also the reason why, even though when you are doing a practice, we are visualizing Avalokiteswara, Buddha Shakyamuni, but it is very much advised that in terms of understanding, we have to understand that the Avalokiteswara is also the same as our Guru, the Amitabha Buddha, Heart Sutra. Even the form, they appear different, but in terms of the true nature is none other than the Guru himself. It's not something that is separate. So this is also this is one of the main points to understand. So anyway, in terms of prostration is to the root Guru and the lineage masters. In terms of inner understanding, it is in the non-dualistic nature of the mind. The very concept of the form, speech, and the thoughts, etc., are merged into the non-dualistic nature. With that understanding, we do 5 prostrations. Lama Sangye Rinpoche La Kyapsuche Manam Kadanyambe Simchen Damche Lama Sangye Rinpoche La Kyapsuche Manam Kadanyambe Simchen Damche Lama Sangye Rinpoche La Kyapsuche Manam Kadanyambe Simchen Damche Lama Sangye Rinpoche Kyapsuche Manam Kadanyambe Simchen Damche Lama Sangye Rinpoche Kyapsuche. 상계 최당 사숨 상계 최당 사숨으로 심진 대당 댕규치 사숨 송다
상계 최당 소기 전함라 장주 벌드 다니 결수지 아기 아이진소 기비 아이소 남기 들라이 벤지 상이 두버쇼 상이 저서 소기 전함라 자주의 벌드 다니 결수지 다기 아이진소 기비 아이소 남기 들라이 벤질 상기 두버쇼 상기 저도 소기 아이저 남라 자주의 벌드 다니 결수지 나기 진소 기비서 남기 들라이 벤지 상기 두바이쇼 심천아 대당 대뉴지 등을 예단 달규지 대화의 담당 미르쇼 차다를 위다 심전아 대당 대뉴지 등을 예단 달규지 대화의 담당 미르쇼 차다를 위다 유무쇼 심전아 대당 대뉴 등을 예단 달규지 대화의 담당 미르쇼 차단을 다녀마쇼.
Now let's do the secret refuge. So to do the secret refuge is a dissolution practice. So as I explain, please do the dissolution. So all the female Dharma protectors dissolve into the Mahakali, the Mahakali, that is the main female protector. Mahakali dissolve into one of the male protectors. Then male protectors dissolve into Mahakala. Mahakala into Yidams, the deities, white Tara, green Tara, etc. And all these deities dissolve into the Vajra Yogini. And Vajra Yogini dissolve into the Chakra Samvara. Then Chakra Samvara also dissolve into one of the 1,000 Buddhas on the right. And slowly, so all of them dissolve into the Buddha Shakyamuni. And Buddha Shakyamuni dissolve into one of the scriptures in the back. And the scriptures slowly dissolve into the heart, the Prajnaparamita. Yumchimashiragi Paradishimpa. The Prajna Paramita slowly dissolve into the right branch, the Arahat, and then slowly dissolve into Bodhisattvas, and slowly dissolve into Avalokitesvara. And Avalokitesvara also dissolve into the Guru Vajradhara. Now all lineage teachers from the lineage Vajradhara and Vajrayogini into Tilopa, Tilopa into Naropa, Marpa, and slowly dissolve into the root Guru Vajradhara. Now Vajra Guru Dhara also dissolve into the light and then enters into us out of, with the wish to bless us, with the wish to make us recognize the nature of our mind, dissolve into us, so body become one with us, speech become one with us, mind become one with us. Yeah? Now let's do the seventh posture. This time, if you're able to, you should do the Vajra posture. The legs should be crossed in the Dorji Kitong. Right? That is left leg inside and up, and then the right leg, on the top. If you can't do, then you can be in that. But if you can, Vajra posture is very much recommended. Okay. Vajra posture, and then the hand in the equanimity position, and the back spine straight, shoulders spread out, neck slightly bent down, tongue touching upper part of the mouth, and eyes open. And one major difference in this meditation is to breathe from your mouth, not from your nose. Okay. Guru Vajradhara's mind become one with us. Do not think about past, what you already did. Do not think about future, what you are going to do. At this present moment, whatever thought comes, be it happiness, be it negative, neither reject them nor accept them. If you reject them, also we are not living in its own nature, we are fabricating it as a negative. If you accept it, saying it's a wonderful thing, again you are fabricating it by not living its own nature. So being aware, but neither rejecting any thought or emotion, nor accepting, we leave the thoughts and emotion as they are. Okay. So breathe from your mouth. Okay. Do not think about past. Do not think about future. In the present moment, whatever thought arises, whatever you see, whatever you hear, neither reject them nor accept them. Just be aware. Tilopa told Naropa, me know nothing to think of the past. Misam, do not think about future. Miche, do not analyze the present thought. Analyze or define. Migom, nothing to meditate. Misem, nothing to think. Rangbapsha, all you have to do is live in its own nature. Keep your eyes open and breathe from your mouth. much for today. And we will do a dedication. So this is called the secret refuge. Secret refuge is your own nature of the mind. How you take refuge is by remaining in the non-fabricated nature of the mind. And in terms of meditation, it is called the calm and abiding nature, or you can call it aware and abiding. Right? In this meditation, if you think that I have to meditate like this, I am meditating, I have to think like this, you are already getting lost. So all we have to do is neither think about the past or the future at the present moment. Just be aware. After you're aware, you have to do nothing. Whatever thought comes, be it positive, negative, emotion, whatever, all you have to do is be aware and then leave it as it is. We don't have to say, oh, I have to be in non-dualist nature of the mind. My meditation is coming good, not coming good. I'm feeling peaceful, I'm feeling agitated. None of these thoughts are recommended. Just, be aware and leave it. Any sort of emotion comes is on nature. So we'll do our dedication now. Gyalwang Moshana, Jambe Pao Nation. Tina Yom, Gyawa di Kanyam Simjin Kuseshu. So now I think we have a bit of time for question answer. So please feel free.
Hello, just about the tanka at the back, I think it's very important. So it's in the middle. Can you kindly explain a bit about the tanka? Is this about the lineage tree?
Yes.
Yeah, can you explain? Because we cannot see it's very far. Thank you.
I think from tomorrow, I think we'll request the organizer to maybe project if possible, project the Ngondro book. So in the front page, there's the lineage trees is there. So today also, I don't know if is it possible that we can focus the video camera on the tanka. The tanka in the middle. Yeah. So if you see basically it's pure land and the lake, and then the lineage tree. Tree has a one main kind of trunk and then the 4 branches. So in the main trunk is the Buddha Vajradhara and the lineage masters. Until there's 2 Vajradhara. One is your root guru is in the Vajradhara, and then on the top is also the lineage, on the top is also the lineage Vajradhara and Vajrayogini. And then on the front is the deity, Chakra Samvara and Vajrayogini. In the Drupal lineage, the deity, when we do visualization, deity practice, on the main practice is the Chakra Samvara and Vajrayogini. That's why they are the main. Then they are surrounded by other deities such as green Tara, white Tara, etc. And below them is the Dhamma protectors. So Mahakala is the male protector, and then from that onwards, from him, the male protectors. And then the Mahakali is the leader of the female protectors, and then the other female protectors. Then on the right of the Buddha is the Buddha Shakyamuni. He is surrounded by the 1,000 Buddhas of this eon. Then at the back, it is behind the root. There's top Vajradhara. It almost looks like it's a one, but actually that is a Prajnaparamita, the female Buddha, who is in the physical form of the Heart Sutra. In the physical form is called the Heart Shirabgiparadushinma. She is surrounded by the sutras and the tantras and sutras. And then on the left side is the Avalokiteswara, and he's surrounded by other bodhisattvas such as Samantabhadra, such as Manjushri, Vajrapani, etc. And below him are the Arahats. So Arahat is that for a Theravada, they don't want to become enlightened, but they want to be liberated from the samsara. So when you are liberated from samsara but not Buddha, your level is called Arahat. And so I think these are the 4 branches. So whenever you say, I prostrate to Guru Dharmakaya, outerly you focus on the Heart Sutra, the Prajnaparamita, Yumchima Shiragi Parduchimba. And whenever you say, I prostrate on the Guru Sambhokakaya, it is you focus on your devotion towards the Avalokiteswara and Chakra Samvara, all the Buddhas which are basically wearing ornaments. So these are the one way to recognize the Buddha in Sambhokakaya form is ornament. For example, in the Tibet also the Lhasa Cho, if you take away all the Cho, it's actually the Nirmanakaya Buddha Shakyamuni, but when they put the ornament, it becomes the Sambhokakaya, the Cho, Lhasa Cho. And then whenever you say Nirmanakaya is Buddha Shakyamuni and the 1,000 Buddhas. So Nirmanakaya means manifestation for the more for the impure beings. So in the pure beings, they have ability to see the Buddhas in the pure form, such as in the light form, whatever the Sambhogakaya form. Impure beings are able to see Buddha only in the flesh and blood, ordinary form. So Buddha Shakyamuni and the 1,000 Buddha represent the Nirmanakaya. And then when you say Lama Sangye Rinpoche Lakyapsucho, it's the Guru lineage Vajradhara and the root Guru in the Vajradhara form. Tomorrow while we are doing prostration, maybe the projector can project the lineage tree. So other questions?
Rinpoche, I noticed that a lot of even lamas and Rinpoches, when they do prostration, especially say in Bodh Gaya, they have all those, like gloves or mats or whatever to help them. And then as an ordinary practitioner like ourselves, when we do it in our shrine, are we allowed to use gloves? Because sometimes, when we do the prostration and we sweat, and it's hard to go down. Of course, when we're doing it on a carpet, it's okay. But when you're in a place like Malaysia, for example, then it's difficult. Because recently I was told by a Rinpoche, he says, if you use gloves, that means you're like an animal. And then if you use gloves to do prostration, you can send you down to the lower realms. So that confuses me quite a lot. Can you please elaborate? Thank you.
I'm not sure about the glove, but generally it is said that when you are doing prostration, it is best if you do not use support. For example, I think we used, because when I was doing prostration also, I had a lot of knee pain, so I was putting, because we do on the plank, so we are putting some cloth on the knee, and then my guru said, no, you cannot use. So, I had to take it out. But it is good because, ultimately, basically it is like this, the reason, for example, when we were doing prostration, that time we were, all these meditations on the 4 ways of turning our mind, it was not really, taught in a very detailed way. We were taught a very shortcut and said, now you do prostration, right? But in the olden days, if you read the Buddhist master, they used to meditate on the 4 appreciation impermanence for 4 years. And the reason is, when we are doing prostration, firstly we are very enthusiastic, we get excited, now I want to practice, I want to get enlightened, we do prostration. Then the knee pain, then the back pain, Then we start, actually what am I doing, what am I doing? Why am I doing this prostration, etc. Right? So all of this I realized because we didn't do the 4 immeasurable thought very nicely. Right? Because if you did it, then for example, if you understand that, deeply understand that the very body that which we are so attached to, every second it is changing to impermanent. The very pain that you are feeling, it is tomorrow, it is impermanent. And if you have not deeply thought about the karma, after some you will even be wondering, why am I doing prostration? If you did from the depth of your heart, if you don't believe in the karma, why do prostration? It's better to sleep nicely and do a massage, right? So, it is the strength of the 4 foundations that how much you have. If you have that, then you are doing it not because it's exciting, not because, it's because basically you have no choice, because of the karma. So that's why I think it is, it is recommended to, to go through the challenges in a life. So that's why I don't know about the sin or not. I don't know whether you go in animal realm or not. But I think, going through as much difficulty as you can is much more purification, that's for sure. I think that is for sure. And I remember when I was young, His Holiness used to tell me, that you have 2 options in your life. You want to enjoy first and suffer later, or suffer first, enjoy later,
Of course, we believe in karma, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And sometimes there's a saying in Chinese that says that you have the heart to do it, but physically you are not able. Especially things change, we grow old, and then, but if we have to, we would kind of like to do the prostration because perhaps we get the chance to realize the reality of our own mind. We do it. We try to do it, but we hurt all over. Sometimes we even get injured. Now, under those circumstances, should we be kind of like be macho, continue to do it because of so-called devotion? Or do we use our little wisdom to then do something maybe as much as we can? Thanks.
I don't know about, devotion or anything, but it's more like, I feel like karma is not really a devotion, Because to believe in a karma, alternative to believing in a karma is either you believe in a divine being controlling your life, then you are religious, other religion. Or you believe that everything is a luck, so, whatever you do doesn't matter. But karma is more like everything I do has a consequences, so I am doing it, for that. So not much of devotion involved in my point of view. So in terms of, basically, Buddhism is a very freedom, In the Buddhism, one person you don't have to worry about is Buddha, because he doesn't mind if you do prostration like sideways or, wrong way or backwards, Buddha will not get angry at all, guaranteed, Only thing you have to worry about in the Buddhism is your karma. So, it's up to you. If we do it with put some effort, difficulty, challenges, maybe not to point where your health get affected, but then, nowadays we are a bit spoiled also, no? Little bit pain and then have to put tiger balm, little bit, we can, no tolerance at all. So that's why, because we cannot tolerance in our practice, we have no tolerance in our life also. Every small thing disturbs us. We get upset over everything. So that's why you have to, I think, basically it's your choice. There's one there.
Rinpoche, 扎西德勒。我想问的问题是，我们在理解空性上面是，它真正的本质就是无二无别的真实的存在，和我们心里什么都不想有什么区别 ？OK。
Okay, that's what I understood.
Okay, in English, it is like this.
Okay.
Okay, in understanding the nature of emptiness, what's the difference between the real existence of non-dual? That's her words. The true existence of non-dual, and also what's the difference between the true existence of non-dual with not thinking at all?
I see. In not thinking at all, there's no awareness. It's more like, there's some meditation where you think there's nothing, But in the non-dualism, awareness is always there. Non-dualism means, is a merge of something. So a merge of emptiness and awareness. If awareness is missing, it is not the right path. Right? Appearance and emptiness, sound and emptiness, awareness and emptiness. Awareness always has to be there. I think you have to translate out in the speaker. Yeah, you can get it. They translate into the earphone, I think.
我听到了。
I have another question, Rinpoche. Just now you said we cannot use this knee pad. Because actually I heard one Rinpoche, he has finished 4 times Ngodrup. So four leg of prostration, but after that, his knee was really very bad. He cannot even walk. So he suggests us to use. So can you tell us why why His Holiness said cannot use? Please,
I'm sure,
thank you.
It's always your choice. It's always your choice, as I said earlier. How you do prostration, how you do everything, but according to the effort, you get the result. So it is not like, if you do, it's a bad or something like that. I think it's up to you. For example, it is said that the Chetsong Kappa, the founder of the Gelugpa lineage, he was very poor, so that's why he had no way to offer a mandala. So what he did was he bought a stone slab, and he used the pebble as a rice offering, and then he, whenever he did the mandala, because he was so poor, he cannot buy rice. So because he was doing the mandala like that, because on the rough stone, he cut his hand, And there was a lot of blood, I think the covering the mandala. So, then, and it is said that because of that, it is said he accumulated so much merit that, it is said it was predicted the entire Gelugpa lineage will never have, the difficulty in material things. They'll always have people to support them in their practice, etc. because of accumulation of the Tsangpa, the Chetsongkhapa's merit and his blessing to the lineage. So it's always up to you, I mean, in a one way, Buddha Shakyamuni gave his body away to the tigress, and that's the most stupid thing, We are talking about putting a band-aid, and Buddha gave away his body, But, he's not saying that if you don't give away your body, it's a sin. It is saying, do according to your level. But just don't be lazy, You might, this is my level, and then sleep, Then you'll always remain the level 0. 0 minus,
Any more questions?
Okay, then I think we will conclude for today. So today I think we went through, in the morning we went through the meditation. So we did the calm and abiding breathing meditation breathing meditation had 2 essence. Whenever you breathe out, breathe in the blessing of the Buddha. Whenever we breathe out, the negative emotion, negative karmas are breathed out. And the breathing meditation, there's the 3. First is called the non-gender. So very, very gently, you can't even hear yourself breathing in. So breathe in, breathe out. Next one is the female, more stronger. And then the last one is the male one. You can breathe in also strongly, breathe out exactly. So we did that 3 times. And then after that, we did the analytical meditation, where is remaining the nature, the appreciation, impermanence, karma, and then the working of the samsara. Then after that, we talked about the refuge. And in the refuge, we did the prostration. And after the prostration, we dissolved the lineage tree into ourselves. And we did the secret refuge, which is your own clear and empty nature of the mind is the Buddha within yourself. Right? So maybe until today and tomorrow, what you can try to do is, as I said earlier, whatever you see, instead of rejecting or accepting it, whatever I see is the Guru Nirmana Kaya. Whatever sound I hear is the Guru Sambhoga Kaya. Whatever I feel happy, sad, whatever is the Guru Dharmakaya. So neither reject nor accept, but live its own nature. So maybe you can try to practice that so that you are much more ready for Singhiseva practiced. Right? Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Now we'll take a break, and then we will have a small group practice of bell and drum of Changi Tsewa by monks and nuns in small groups. So those who is interested to join can come back here again at 4:30 until 5:45. And then dinner will be served in between 6 to 7 o'clock. After the dinner, we will have the practice of Changi Tsewa group practice led by our chanting nuns and all together. Thank you. After 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. 各位你好，我哋而家咧會有一個少少嘅休息時間嘅，跟住4點半鐘咧，我哋就會有一個小組嘅一個練習靈鼓嘅練習啦。咁咧就至到係5點45分嘅。有興趣想做一個練習嘅咧，可以係4點半再翻嚟呢一個大禮堂。然之後咧晚餐咧會喺6點鐘開始至到7點鐘。完咗晚餐之後咧，我哋就會有一個真正嗰個練習喺翻呢